Good morning. This is the Innovation Conversation. How you doing, Tom?
Good morning, Kevin. Good. Back from a couple crazy weeks of travel.
Absolutely. Well, you missed the snow. So
I did. I
lucky
got out of
you.
there. It was cold in New York, but it was bearable.
Yes, it's both cold and snowy here. And we're in for a polar vortex or something.
Mhm.
Oof. Anyway, so you were as you just said, you were at NRF in New York
Mhm.
City. I didn't have a chance to go this year, but one of the things that we were talking about it is you pointed out to me that I mean, relevant to a lot of companies in the retail business, the two companies that had just an extraordinary presence there were Amazon and Walmart. So, talk a little bit about what you saw and heard from both of those two guys.
Well, I was really struck by, well, first of all, the show's massive, right? I
Right.
mean, it's every nook and cranny of the Javits Center, multiple levels and really broken up. And it's kind of a little bit of a frustrating show to navigate.
Ugh.
But one of the things that, really struck me this year was the growth and sophistication of both Amazon and Walmart's external commerce offerings. You really saw both companies fully stepped up. While they're both retailers in their own right, both really step up with a big presence as a tech company selling to others. And
Right.
that was evidence from their and Amazon's was much bigger than Walmart's, but both were big. Massive trade show space with lots of partners in there as well as themselves. Both companies did keynotes, and both companies did a number of breakouts, either on their own or in many cases with partners. Showcasing the various capabilities that they're marketing out to the industry. So, we've seen it coming, obviously, with Amazon for a long time, with AWS, and even before AWS. And Walmart really over the last couple of years, with Walmart Commerce Technologies, which is their, externally facing business. Just big, just a big, I think, increase in their presence from both these companies.
But do they have different goals? In other words, Amazon has for some time been licensing out its technology to other retailers, right? Walmart's not doing that really. I
Yes,
mean,
they are.
but really.
Walmart Commerce Technologies is absolutely doing that. Yes.
So what are the what? Okay, so we know with Amazon, it's things like Just Walk Out. It's a lot of carts, things like that. What is Walmart looking to license out to other to its competitors?
They were showing, well, one, they're kind of their delivery capabilities.
Right.
They were showing in the marketplace. Now it's other retailers and brands. They talked a lot about their ad business. They talked about AI. They talked about some of the different capabilities, around search, shelf labels, electronic shelf labels, those things. Absolutely turning that stuff externally.
Right.
It's and we've seen it in the news, but it was really becoming clear there, and and they had a pretty good team of folks there that were there selling, the tech capabilities.
Is it your sense that, I mean, listen, I've said often that I think we get more Amazon trucks on our street than we get FedEx and UPS and mail and US mail trucks.
Mhm.
Could you foresee a time when we'll see Walmart trucks doing the same with the same kind of infrastructure? Or do you think they would continue to use other delivery, the likes of FedEx or whoever?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think, for the foreseeable future, the focus on using their stores,
Right,
as hubs, locally, I think, that's where we're going to see most of the action.
right. Which gives
Yeah.
them an enormous advantage, obviously, over
Yeah.
Amazon because they've got so many stores.
Yes. Although Amazon, though, with their number of fulfillment centers that they are deploying in local markets, I wouldn't say they're catching up, but they're not super far behind. But it's definitely an advantage of Walmart to have that store network.
Did you get a sense where is Amazon in terms of physical grocery development? Did you get a sense from that? I mean, it's been such a mixed bag. They've gotten rid of everything pretty much except for grocery. Certainly has not been a raging success for them. And right now, I don't even think they have somebody heading up their grocery business. So, did they talk about that at all?
No, I didn't see that discussed at all. When in the Amazon, we can talk about Amazon grocery in a second. In the Amazon booth, we saw, much more around, their capabilities with AI and search and their ad network and leveraging their Just Walk Out technology. Um, a lot of stuff in those areas and some pretty cool stuff that they're doing and with some pretty cool partners. Interestingly, not much said about grocery specifically. Now, this was NRF, which is a broad
Broader.
broad range of retail. But no, didn't hear much about that. And yes, that is my understanding as well, is that the senior team from the grocery business is all reporting into the store CEO.
Right.
But the Tony Hoggett position, at least now, is not existing there.
And Stores has just announced layoffs, 200 people from their stores division from a
Yeah.
variety of different disciplines.
Yeah.
So, it's funny, and I don't want to beat this horse any more than we've beaten it. I've beaten it, is that, it sort of reinforces to me, I'm just not persuaded yet that other than Whole Foods, which has a distinctive niche, I'm just not persuaded that over the long term, they're really committed to the physical grocery business. I just think they're going to find it more profitable to license this stuff out to other companies because they don't need to when I say they don't really need to compete with Walmart. Walmart's got that dominates
Yeah.
that segment. So go dominate your own segment, right? As opposed to playing the other guy's game. But I've been saying this for a while.
Well, they're not proving they're not proving otherwise.
Right,
They're not showing conviction. I wouldn't say there's a complete lack of conviction because they're doing a lot.
right,
But clearly they have not found that compelling formula,
right.
to double and triple down upon,
Yeah,
which, and then for me, just given my background, pre-Amazon and Amazon and even post-Amazon, to me, that's a shame because I do think that, that is an area that, Amazon really could go win in.
yeah.
Not easy, but to me, there's a formula there. And I think it would be a shame if they, didn't pursue the business and then, pursued that space strictly through, technology and model enablement. But not a terrible way to go if that's all you got.
Yeah. One of the things I know they did announce during NRF was this expanding their ad network and making that available to other retailers. My
Yes.
joke on Morning Newsbeat was that, okay, well, they've used the ad network to diminish their own shopper experience on their own sites, and now they're gonna do that for everybody else.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
there is some
but
truth
that
to
does seem to be, I mean, and listen, you and I have spent a lot of time talking about this, both on the innovation conversation and off, that there's so much of a focus on selling more stuff, ironically, as opposed for Amazon, right?
it. Yep.
There's so much focus on not just selling stuff, but creating, this ad infrastructure that provides ancillary dollars that go right to the
Yeah.
bottom line.
Significant ancillary dollars.
What?
Significant ancillary
Oh,
dollars.
enormous ancillary dollars,
Yeah.
but at the cost of a superior customer experience. And the argument has been, my argument has been all along, and I think you agree with me on this, is everybody's doing it. Everybody's with retail
Yeah.
media, it's the whole thing. And then Amazon is just ramping up the game. And at the end of the day, I still can't help but wonder if shoppers are the ones who are going to, yeah, they're going to pay the price, but they're not necessarily going to be well served by it.
Yeah. Well, I think you just got to get the balance right. And we've seen lots of, LinkedIn posts, online forums and whatnot, where shoppers feel like Amazon's gone too far. Amazon's lost me. They don't know me like they used to. they don't care about me like they used to. They're clearly trying to monetize me, monetize my traffic, monetize my intentions. And that's definitely off-putting to a number of customers. But the sheer dollar, dollar yield, and what it means to the business, and frankly, how it helps them, keep prices in check, and it helps them, their overall financial equation work better. That's not to be denied. So, it's
Absolutely.
really getting the formula right. And, Amazon has built, the creme de la creme of the ad network.
Yeah.
And like any other technology that Amazon's developed over the years, once you get to the point where you've established your own competitive advantage in an area, with a lead that's expanding in many cases, and theirs is even though others are getting into the space and growing fast, Amazon's raw dollar expansion is, they're far superior to anyone else. Turning that technology externally and further monetizing it is a great deal.
Yeah.
And, the interesting thing with the ad network is once you get past like the top, I don't know, 8 to 10 retailers, right? It's hard as a manufacturer that's going to be advertising in the space to go engage with those smaller retailers, right? You need platforms, you need, good agency businesses. You just need ways and measurement capabilities, and you just need ways to be able to work across them, um, and have it be efficient from, I'm a manufacturer spending down in the space. That is one thing that Amazon can afford, to these smaller retailers.
Was there-
But it's a
was-
double-edged sword because you can take advantage of the scale, sophistication, and effectiveness of Amazon's ad network and put it into your experiences. But you're also at risk of doing a deal with the devil,
yeah.
your competitor.
Was there anything else other than what you saw from Amazon and Walmart? Anything else you saw at NRF from a retail perspective that struck you as being a potential needle mover, a potential game changer, something you said, whoa, that's something that people ought to be, retailers ought to be flocking to, or at least testing.
I think the other company to me that had a ton of buzz around it, and an ever increasing size of footprint there, was Fusion.
Yeah.
They're what started as simply as ESLs, electronic shelf labels, is a lot more capabilities surrounding that now, from category management to in-stock measurement to, monitoring traffic, consumer behavior, and just a number of capabilities. The buzz around their booth was palpable.
Hmm.
And I think we heard last year they Walmart made the announcement that they're going with them, as their solution, um, and just a lot of buzz around them. So
And it's worth pointing out, by the way, that yeah, but it's not just a big company solution, because one of their other retailers they talk about all the time that they do business with is Dorothy Lane Market, which is three stores.
exactly, yes,
So
yeah.
it's not just a big company solution.
No, definitely not. Yeah, no, definitely not. And I don't know how the economics work, but across their solutions. But there was a lot of buzz there, so it was good to see that. Good to see that kind of digitization and enhancement, of the store experience, that they're delivering.
Yeah.
But
Well,
otherwise, I wasn't really, again, like CES, there was AI everywhere.
right.
Um, in some cases, it was thoughtfully applied. In other cases, clearly it was they were just using it to market.
Well,
Um,
and you and I have talked about this. One of the problems, and it's sort of it's two sides of the same coin, is because supermarket retailers are not quick to adopt or test new technology. The tech sector has become less enamored of this, and we're talking specifically about supermarkets here.
yeah,
Tech sector has become less enamored with creating new technology for the supermarket industry. So because why create all the stuff that retailers are going to say are not necessarily going to adopt?
yes,
And it's one of the it's listen, where and it's funny you mentioned Vusion. they're going to be part of our tech track that you and I and Sansolo are doing at
Yeah,
NGA at the end of February. They're going to be there. And one of the and this is our message is that retailers need to test more, innovate more,
yes,
try more new things, invest, because if they don't do those things, the big companies, I mean, Walmart and Amazon chiefly, but also Kroger, also Costco,
absolutely. Yeah,
they're going to be left in the dust, and the chasm gets wider and wider and wider.
no doubt about it. The pace of innovation is accelerating.
Right.
The challenge retailers have is, they have a pretty full 2 year out looking product check roadmap. And a lot of it is stuff they have to do. It's just upgrading their basic systems, to be able to operate in today's world. And, that's challenging. It does beg, for a new innovation model. The big, well-capitalized companies can peel off a bunch of their balance sheet and can lean into these new areas, while they're cleaning up, their technical underpinnings. But the retailers beyond the top few, it's more imperative than ever that they do find this investment model that works for them, that can coexist with the necessary stuff in the roadmap, but can also, pave the way, to a better future through, better, more sophisticated, impactful technology. And definitely something that we will be discussing at NGA and probably post NGA in this forum.
The listen, the question I maintain that, and I think you agree with this. The question every retailer, regardless of size, needs to be asking themselves, and maybe more, the smaller you are, the more they have to ask it. And the question I think we're hoping to help answer both through the innovation conversation and doing things like NGA is 2 years from now, how will my store have fundamental differences than what it is today?
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that we're not going to have produce. No, but it means is what offering or what service are we going to have 2 years from now that we don't offer today that will make us more customer centric and ultimately more successful and more competitive?
100%. How are we gonna significantly raise the bar during that time so that we are serving our customers in ways that are superior to how we do today? Because ultimately, to compete, that's what you have to do.
Well, listen, again, it'll be an interesting, as always, the last 2 or 3 years, NGA has been fascinating. These tech tracks are just really, really interesting. I'm looking forward to doing it. It's going to be fun.
Yes.
Hey, listen, thank you for, as always, for doing the innovation conversation. It was fun, and I'll see you soon.
Sounds great. Look forward to it, Kevin.
See you, everybody.
Bye, everyone.